Hi, this is James Gardner, the CineTechGeek, and I'm in Sydney, Australia. I'm from Australia, so it's not hard to be here, but I'm in Sydney, Australia for the SMPTE conference. And the SMPTE conference in Australia is basically our version of NAB. It's held every 2 years. And as you can see behind me, it looks a little bit like NAB. There's Blackmagic and some other local vendors in the background. And I wanted to come here this year because I wanted to try and socialise some of the interesting aspects of what SMPTE does and what actually happens in the real world. SMPTE does a lot of amazing work in standards and developing of standards and the right path to actually distribution, etc. Without SMPTE, of course, there was a recent SMPTE time, using timecode to give you an example of how important SMPTE is, but you really need to take more of a notice of without SMPTE being able to record some content in Australia, produce it, and then being able to distribute it throughout the world really is basically based on SMPTE standards and that community coming together and agreeing on how that's going to be done on a worldwide basis. It's amazingly important to our community. So one thing about SMPTE and in Australia at the moment is, having a look at, as I'm getting back into post, I had a post facility many years ago when I was younger, but now I'm getting back into post in these days. I'm having a look at the workflows and where the standards are going, where the actual industry is going, what disparity is there between them, and where some socialisation or some information about this amazing work that SMPTE's put together is likely to have an effect on us as a production community, as a creative community. So I'm going to focus on some of those aspects in my videos this year. 4K, for example, in Australia has very low traction. Why is that? What's happening overseas with 4K? Why is 4K more traction over there? High dynamic range, of course, is an important issue, and I want to visit that quite heavily in terms of how we're going to get to high dynamic range. What can we do in the meantime? Some other things to try and educate and maybe drive traction in the industry or traction in the consumer market to help us get to that better looking picture. And also issues of when does high dynamic range work and when it doesn't. There's a lot of things that we need to inform ourselves and get some experience with before we make an informed decision on when we're going to move and how we're going to move to those new standards. So I hope you enjoy my coverage at SMPTE, and I hope you enjoy the new videos, and I'm looking forward to making them in the next day. Bye for now, this is James Gardner, the CineTechGeek.